It is my intention to go back and forth on amendment offerings, so I'll turn to the public side.
Madam Chair.
Senator Braun.
My amendment number one, in watching the whole navigation through COVID and for the time I've been here a little over 3 years and seeing how slow it is to get things through the FDA, especially when there are therapies and proven drugs in other countries that would share our same standards. This is about taking the collective information across the world when it's working in a place that we would respect the process. Proud to offer this amendment with Senator Paul. Would have benefited Americans during the height of the pandemic, and it still remains a priority of this committee. Supporting patients' timely access to safe and effective prescription drugs and vaccines. The underlying bill encourages partnerships in innovation between the U.S. and countries with comparable regulatory frameworks. It does so by establishing an expedited FDA review process to approve safe and effective drugs and vaccines that are already approved and marketed in other developed countries, such as the UK, but are not accessible here. It would really be important to maladies like ALS and others that we've got no real good therapies for. There might be some in other places that are working. Those folks have a timetable that can't wait on the lumbering process that sometimes happens with the FDA. My amendment is simple. It will give Americans equal access to safe and effective drugs that are currently accessible to patients in other countries. It also supports a robust, redundant U.S. supply chain that leverages international collaboration. And I will ask for a vote later on.
Let me just respond quickly, and I'll open it up for any other comments. On this amendment, it is really my view that it is really critical that we uphold FDA's gold standard of safety and effectiveness for drug products. This amendment would actually lower the standards of U.S. approval of prescription drugs, and it would also force FDA to accept data from foreign clinical studies, even when the quality and integrity of those studies do not meet FDA standards. So I would urge my colleagues to vote no on this amendment.
Madam Chairman.
Senator Burr.
Madam Chairman, I reluctantly am going to be a no as well. I served in Congress when we tried to harmonize FDA standards with the EU. And it sounded good on the surface, but when you begin to look at all the members of the EU and the different approval standards that some of their country members had, you realize that that wasn't going to work with the gold standard that was set by the FDA. And we then stopped that effort of harmonization. I think the one thing that we have done as a committee over the years is every time we've tweaked language, even in pandemics, we've done it with the intent to protect the gold standard. In 1997, when I was tasked with reforming the FDA, my partner on your side of the aisle in the House was Henry Waxman. And there was not a more competitive person than Henry was. But the one thing we did when we sat down was, we're never going to do anything that jeopardizes the gold standard that's set by the FDA. I am critical of how long the FDA takes. I am critical of a lot of things that the FDA does. I'm not critical of the outcome that they reach. And I think it would be a huge mistake for us to say, if you haven't done something in 90 days, then it's automatically approved. I'm not sure that that's anywhere near the gold standard that we accept. I will say this, that I've been frustrated since 1997 the FDA could accept foreign data in their applications, and they refused to do it until COVID. We've set a new milestone. I mean, there's a precedent out there, and I think we ought to do everything we can to codify the progress that we've made. And foreign data inclusion today is an important thing. That foreign inclusion is there. It's part of the process now, and I know that's one of the things that Senator Braun was trying to get at. It's in law, in statute, has been since '97, but more importantly, they've exercised the use of it, and I hope they're going to do it even more in the future, so I will be a reluctant no.
Any other comments on this amendment? Senator Paul.
I'd like to speak in favor of this bill. Nothing in the bill lowers the standard for the FDA. What it simply does is it gives the FDA a chance to look at the data from foreign countries and vote to expedite it. If they don't agree with the data from the foreign countries, it goes back to the normal FDA standard. So there is no removal of the FDA standard. It gives you a chance to look. So an example might be a blood pressure drug that's on the market in France. It could be on the market for the general public for a decade. Tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people could have used it. Way more people than would ever be in a phase 1, 2, or 3 study. It would come before a group of scientists who are part of the FDA, and they would say, wow, 100,000 people have taken it, and we haven't had considerations of harm or safety, and the efficacy looks good on this, and the studies look good. And this is bigger than any trial we would ever mandate in our country. Why don't we expedite it and skip phase 1, 2, and 3? But it could always go back to phase 1, 2, or 3 if they say no. And these are the same group of scientists that everybody says that they respect at the FDA. So I would respectfully say that this does not lower any standard, but it would allow for drugs that have been approved overseas to get an expedited review here. We've tried this for years. We tell them to look at it. Most time the FDA doesn't look at the data. It isn't really working as well as it could. And I think this bill would dramatically transform things and allow us to get drugs that have been on the market for many, many years in other countries much sooner.
Any other comments on the Braun amendment? If not, we will move to this side.